I told you yesterday there is a concept called the company and citizenship. And then in this concept, now I am taking it in segregation, like first attributes. Yesterday's class, exceptions, lifting of corporate will. Today, judicial decisions in lump sum, in what you call it, judicial decisions. Now, a new concept we are going to study. I will give a brief introduction. Probably for further details, I will try to continue later on, or if time permits, I will try to quickly complete today. Let me see. Because I have got one more meeting going on in another 20 minutes, I have to start off. So, in fact, I apologize and then I will have to go at the earliest. See, there is a concept, a company is an artificial person. In that event, is it that a company being an artificial person can have voting rights and can be a citizen? A person means what? Income Tax Act says a person includes a partnership firm, an individual, a corporate entity, a cooperative society, and a Hindu undivided family. It has got multidimensional. So here also a case comes whether under this particular constitution or under Citizenship Act, whether a company could be taken as a citizen. In that event, all the companies registered in the country would be exercising franchise through the agency, one of the directors authorized by the board of directors. Simple logic. The company is to be represented by the directors as agents, and the board will pass a resolution, and MD or so and so will be going and putting the franchise, exercising franchise, and come back. Is it possible? Is the question here. If that is the case, then it will have very far-reaching consequences. So, friends, this matter has to be examined with the provisions of the Indian Constitution, Part 2, and then read with the Citizenship Act 1955. Whether the Citizenship Act 1955 confers any such rights or the Constitution of India Part 2 confers any such rights is the basic question here. This particular judgment was given by the Supreme Court, friends, in the famous State Trading Corporation of India Limited versus State Trading Corporation of India Limited versus CTO, Commercial Tax Officer. Citation AIR 1963, Supreme Court, page 1811. AIR 1963, SC, and then page 1811. There is equivalent 1969 SCJ, Supreme Court Journal, SCJ, page 605. Page 605. In this case, the State Trading Corporation was incorporated as a private company originally under the Companies Act 1956. That's number one. Then all the shares were held by the President of India and the secretaries in their official capacity. Then the question comes, if the corporate wheel is lifted, one sees three persons who are admittedly the citizens of India, the secretaries and President of India, and the first citizen of India is President of India, and he is holding this particular shares. So therefore, a question was raised before Supreme Court. The citizen means here this particular corporation also should be regarded as a citizen. Now the Supreme Court has examined thoroughly the Citizenship Act 1955 and then the Constitution of India. And then the Supreme Court held that either under Part 2 of Constitution of India or under the Citizenship Act 1955, there is no conferment that the rights of citizenship or it recognizes citizen any person other than a natural person. That is the most important thing. A citizen can be only a natural person, and then an artificial person cannot be a citizen thereof. This is the most important aspect, my dear friends. Now, Justice Hidayatullah, the great luminary, former Justice of India, Vice President of India, and also acting President of India, he was dealing with this case. He has made out a great statement. Please take down. Justice Hidayatullah, he said, inverted commas, quote, as you know, in legal slang, we say quote, unquote. Quote, if all of them are if all of them are citizens of India, comma, the company does not become a citizen of India any more than if all are married, the company would be a married person. If all are married, the company would be a married person, unquote. All of them are citizens of India, the company does not become a citizen of India any more than if all are the company would be a married person. How beautiful it is. This, I told you, some of the judgments of this great man you read. Krishna, Justice Hidayatullah, Chief Justice Anand, some of the judgments now given by our own Supreme Court judges, Justice Chandrachud, Bhagwati, and then our own judges. Some of the judgments of our Justice N.V. Ramana, and then Justice Subhash Reddy, and then Mr. L. Nageshwara. What you find in them? Words of wisdom. And then application of law practically suiting to the existing requirements of the society. Law is static, it should be dynamic with changing needs of the society. That is what is happening. You have to see, as lawyers, law students, how this is synchronized. You find this here. And then further, take down. The Supreme Court further observed that a company is, however, a person in the eye of law. It claims the protection of such fundamental rights as are guaranteed to all persons, whether citizens or not. That means under Article 226, a company can file a writ petition because whether citizens or not, anybody can invoke Article 226. But only citizens can invoke Article 32 before the Supreme Court. A company cannot invoke. A company can invoke Article 226. A company is, however, a person in the eye of law, and it claims the protection of such fundamental rights as are guaranteed to all persons, whether citizens or not. Then the company cannot claim, the protection of such fundamental rights as are expressly guaranteed to citizens only. That is Article 32. That is where the difference comes. Very well, friends. On this particular subject matter, there are permutations and combinations. And then from this particular time, as time passed, middle 70s, 80s, the Supreme Court has made out a law that even companies are affected, they can approach under 32, but not in the name of the company, but in the name of the individual directors, ultimately giving rights to only citizens who are natural persons, but not companies. So companies can never be citizens and exercise rights on par with natural persons. So I'll take the next example, the state of Gujarat. This is the example. Is state of Gujarat versus Ambika Mills Limited, 1974, Supreme Court cases, 1974, Supreme Court cases, page 56. The Supreme Court held that here, a citizen shareholder of a company, that's what I told you. A citizen shareholder of a company can, on behalf of the company, can, on behalf of the company, challenge a law as void, violates his fundamental rights of citizenship. So, company directly cannot go, but a shareholder can say indirectly his rights are affected, company is affected, and he can agitate. Now there is one more important case. Now 70s over, I come to 80s. DCM Company Limited versus Union of India and others. DCM Company Limited versus Union of India and others. 1983, Company Law Journal, page 28, Supreme Court. Company Law Journal, 1983, page 28, Supreme Court. The question is whether writ petitions under Article 32 or 226 are maintainable by a company when company is not a citizen. Then friends, the question is Article 19, the freedom, the right of freedom is not secured to the company. So the Supreme Court held that such writ petitions are maintainable, taking the reference to R.C. Cooper versus Union of India. R.C. Cooper versus Union of India. That when held that a measure, executive or legislative, may impair the rights of the shareholders as well as the company, then the individual shareholder can agitate. And then by a state action, the rights of individual shareholders are impaired. That action impairs the rights of the company as well. Then the court entertains a petition under 32 at the instance of a director or shareholder of the company and grant relief. Instance of director or shareholder of the company, not directly by the company. So take it for granted today, under Article 226, a company can file a writ petition, then it can take the matter to Supreme Court under Article 136. But directly under 32 is concerned, the law is yet to be settled. I am of the opinion, directly in the name of the company, Article 32 cannot be invoked. So a company is not a citizen. CTO versus STC versus CTO. Then these are all the judgments which in support to protect the interest of the company. Other way around it can be done, but not directly. Now the matter is clear. Then friends, the last point for today's discussion, whether the company's nationality is to be taken into account. How decide the nationality of a company? It is by only registration. If a company started in India by all shareholders of foreign country, the company is registered in India. A company is registered in India. All the shareholders are from foreign country. That company is the Indian company only. Yeah. If the company is registered in a foreign country, all the shareholders are Indians, still it is a foreign company. It is not an Indian company. And that company opens a branch in India, it is a foreign company having a branch in India. It is not a...
Same happened in the case of Vodafone, sir.
Absolutely right. Vodafone is the best example. And Vodafone assets also were subject to seizure under the IBC. And then in the NCLT, the matter was going on. Now it is seized because of this particular lockdown. So that's Vodafone is the best example. That is the reason why, my dear friend, I have given Vodafone example that the lifting of corporate wheel. I have given that Vodafone International Holding BV versus Union. Very nice. That is how you have to be alert and then make out your study, share it with your friends so that this 21 members team of students of second semester will be invincible. And then this is going to be the best group. And tomorrow I'll have the pride to say I happen to be their teacher. And then this is my group. Let me have that pleasure and give me, that is the Guru Dakshina you are going to give to me. Thanks. Thank you. So friends, how to decide the domicile? By only registration. All foreigners start a company in India, it is Indian company. All Indians start a company and register it in foreign country, it is a foreign company. That is how the registration is the most important thing. Always you have to take the registration as the criteria to judge the nationality of a company. It is an Indian company or a foreign company. Purely it is a registration. Take it for granted. Once again, I repeat, all are foreigners, but to incorporate a company in India, it is an Indian company only. That is how you have to take the issue into your stride. And for arbitration purpose, the control and management is also important. That is another important aspect. But registration is the criteria for Companies Act. So far the Companies Act is concerned, the registration is the most important aspect we are supposed to take into account. So with this background, my dear friends, we conclude our discussion today pertaining to, I have given you the lifting of corporate will judicial perspective and various other judgments. And apart from that, I have also given you an explanation pertaining to whether a company can be called a citizen. No. Only natural persons can be citizens. Artificial persons can never be citizens. Take it for granted. The only parameters as lawmen we have to see. We are lawmen now. We are not laymen. We have to see that the parameters happen to be the Constitution of India, Part 2, read with the Citizenship Act, 1955. Citizenship Act, in fact, defines what is what. On this particular basis, you have to make out your study. So, friends, with this background, we'll proceed further. And then tomorrow, there won't be a session. There cannot, because I have got some other engagement. Day after tomorrow, we are meeting again at 6:30 as usual. Tomorrow, I will try to feed, as in lieu of the session, this particular 16 judgments I gave you, I will put it in the WhatsApp. You can make a comparison. Okay, that can't be put into the YouTube, so I will put that in the particular WhatsApp, and then we'll proceed further slowly. Like this, we'll complete the portion. We are now moving fast, and then we have come to the crux now. We are virtually in the middle of the session now, virtually going through all the important aspects now. So once this is over, probably day after tomorrow, I will start off the formalities, articles, memorandum. So slowly, I will try to complete all the concepts. Once we complete the concepts, we will speed up with only statutory provisions. That is only basic guidance. That's all. I had to give you much guidance, much advice, and then help only in concepts, because a lot of case law involved. And I had to tell you the case law, further tell you the updation method. With that background, you can proceed off. So, friends, thank you very much then. Good day. Bye. Good night. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Good night, sir. Good night, sir.
Thank you, sir. Bye.
Thank you.